Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Fitness Education Series produced by the Australian Fitness Academy. It's like progressive overload for your brain. I'm your host, Tom Rock, and today's episode we're going to discuss training frequency, or how often you train. And it's a program variable that you can adjust and manipulate for yourself or your clients and change how many times you train per week. My thoughts on training frequency is that it's probably the least important training variable out of everything. Like we have sets, reps, we've got the exercise selection, all those sort of things are going to probably have more of an impact on rest periods. All these things are going to have a bigger impact on if you achieve your goals or if you get towards your goals than how many times you train per week. And the reason for that is, like, when we talk about training frequency, it's how many sessions I do. So obviously we want to train we generally want to train a muscle group 2, maybe 3 times per week, at least twice per week. But we can do that multiple ways. So it doesn't really matter if you train twice per week, if you want to train 3 times per week, 4 times, 5 times, or 6 days per week you want to train. You should be able to follow a well-structured program that allows you to train each muscle group 2, maybe 3 times per week, no matter how many training sessions you want to fit in or that fit around your lifestyle. So it's a very common question from personal trainers or gym instructors to clients, but also the other direction. So when a client comes in, a question we commonly might ask them is, how many times per week do you want to train, or can you train? Is a good way to state it. And a lot of the time clients will come back and say, well, how many times should I train? And that's probably, from the client's point of view, that's a good question. They want to know, well, if I'm here to reach my goals, how often do I need to come in and train? And it's a great discussion to have with the client, because you should be able to design a program that is going to work for them no matter how many days per week they can attend the gym. So we're generally talking about resistance training here. So when it comes to it, I think a good discussion to have and a good place to get to is to find out what they can commit to consistently. So it's better to maybe, if they think they can do it 2 to 3 times per week, start with 2 times per week. Give them something they can definitely stick to consistently, because consistency over time is what's going to help them get results. So it doesn't matter if they have the perfect program or you have the perfect program, but they need to be in the gym 4 or 5 times a week, and they go, okay, I'll do that, and then they change all these other lifestyle factors. They get less sleep, work, they're driving straight from work to the gym or getting up early, and it's just unsustainable for them. If they only maintain it for 2 or 3 weeks and then they miss session here, miss a session there, they're not going to get as good a result as if you had have said, okay, let's go 2 times a week, write them a well-structured program to potentially more of a full body session, so they train muscles 2 times per week, and then they have something that they can stick to consistently that doesn't take them out of routine. So the important thing with training frequency is that it suits someone's lifestyle, I believe. And generally, for clients who haven't trained before, I usually err on the side of less frequency than more, because if it's a new sort of habit we're trying to build, going from 0 training sessions to 4 training sessions is a lot for them potentially to fit in their week or fit in their structure or stay motivated for or make time for. So taking these small steps and getting to even starting at once per week, and then build up to 2 times per week, because that's potentially a little bit better than training once per week. But there's definitely, you can have good programs that'll get great results training twice per week, 3 times per week, 4, 5, or 6 times per week potentially as well. So structure your program around training muscle groups twice per week, but that session frequency or the training frequency can be adjusted for individual clients. And it's a great thing, I think, for clients to understand too, and discuss with them, because it gives them a little bit more flexibility, and they can realize that they can work their fitness and their gym and their health, things they need to be doing for their health, around other aspects of their lifestyle. So if they can only get to the gym twice per week, that's fine. We don't want clients thinking, oh, well, I can only train twice per week. There's no point. Which sometimes I'll see social media or people in the gym and they're just like, oh, I go to the gym 5 times per week. It's like, well, I can't do that. I've got no time, all this sort of stuff. So showing them, or at least discussing with them, that there's great results can be had with maybe 2 1-hour sessions per week. So it's only 2 hours per week of resistance training, and they'll still be able to progress and see great results. And that's a really good thing, I think, to educate people on, because it's a little bit more doable than say, oh, well, you've got to go to the gym 5 times per week for 1 hour, 5 times per week, and fit that in. It's going to be a big change for a lot of people and probably not sustainable. We want to, in terms of improving people's health and fitness, we want to give them a lifestyle change that they're going to be able to maintain or build a habit around for the next 10, 20, 30 years. So giving them something manageable is really important. So play around with your programs. Have a go. Look at it. If someone wants to train twice per week, how are you going to structure that? If someone wants to train or can train 3 times per week, what's your program structure look like that? 4 days per week. Why might you change these sort of things? So if someone needs shorter sessions, they can get to the gym often, but they only can do short sessions. Maybe they do more sessions, but they just split their body parts up a little bit more. So that's a really good way to do it. So clients says, I can only spend 30 minutes in the gym. So you make these compromises. So you can spend 30 minutes and train 4 times per week, or you can spend 60 minutes and train twice per week. And there'll be some element of pros and cons to both, depending on people's situations. But get good at manipulating your programs around, or program structure around what's going to suit that client. Give them a program that's going to allow them to implement it in the long run. So if they can stick to it for 6, 8, 12 weeks and it suits their lifestyle, it's going to be a lot better than something that throws everything out of whack. So they can't sleep, they're not eating well, and they just fall off the bandwagon because it's not sustainable for them. So a really good little exercise is just, come up with some different programs for 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. How would you structure it differently? And then obviously it's going to be different for every client in terms of exercise selection, how much what's their training age like, have they done any exercise before, what's their goals, do I do isolation, compound, all those sort of things are really important. So once you have the training frequency, that's probably the most important part in terms of, well, how do I structure the exercise selection? But in terms of overall, you can build someone a great program no matter how many times they can get to the gym per week. And that's a really good thing to educate clients on, because one of their first questions will be, well, how many times should I train per week? So showing them some different options maybe gives them some ideas and thoughts, and then the more experience they get and the more they train, maybe they go through periods where they do train 3 or 4 times per week, then they say, hey, Tom, I've got some busy things coming up. Can I drop my training break? And then you can restructure their program so they can still get good results on training 2 days per week. So it shows them that flexibility and that ability to improve or maintain their strength and fitness no matter how many times they can train per week, which is good to know. So they don't have to sort of go, it's all or it's nothing. There's lots of in between. So in terms of it being, you can get good results no matter what. That's why I've sort of said it's the least important, because no matter how many times you can train per week, you can get great results. But obviously the rest of your program structure, your exercise selection, all that sort of stuff gets built off, well, how many days you can train. So it's important to get to the idea of how many days I'm going to do. But in the grand scheme of things, clients will get good results on 2 days, clients will get great results on 6 days. I wouldn't say one is better or worse. They'll be better and worse depending on each client's scenario. So you want to give them the program that's going to suit them the best. Anyway, guys, hope you get a little bit out of my thoughts on that. If you do have any questions, thoughts on this topic or any other topics you'd like me to cover, please email tom@afa.com.au. Definitely happy to cover any questions you guys have. Other than that, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon.